All right. This is Graham with the Center for Community Justice. I'm recording with Tony. He was one of our offenders in the Victim Offender Reconciliation Program, and he's going to talk today a little bit about how he went through the process, what the experience was like for him, and the benefit that it made for him as the offender. And so I'm going to start, Tony, with kind of a broad question, which was just, what was the VORP mediation experience like for you?
The experience was really great because I hadn't talked to Mr. Evans since my offense, and doing a face-to-face with him with no pressure was excellent. Instead of in court where we would have just stood in front of the judge and talked back and forth and decided what was going to happen to me. Uh, like I said, seeing Mr. Evans was good again, and he had forgiven me from what I'd done, and I don't think all that would have happened just in the courtroom.
Okay, so how is seeing him and having that one-on-one time to communicate with him, what about that experience was helpful for you, and how did you experience that? How was it different than the way that you experienced the case before you had that opportunity?
It was a big relief off my shoulders when I finally got to meet him. I was really nervous about it. Like I said, Mr. Evans was a nice guy always anyway, but when you do something that you shouldn't do to somebody, you're always nervous about it anyway. And seeing him face to face, and we talked it out, and it was a good experience. I'm glad that we did it that way.
And can you talk a little bit about what you learned in that experience, in that conversation? Are there any sort of big takeaways, things that you learned from going through the work process?
Yes. I took more than money from him. I hurt everybody that worked for the company.
How did the VORP process, how did going through our mediation process lead you to a better understanding of the harm that the victim experienced?
I probably realized what the harm was even without going through the VORP, but getting it off my chest and talking it over with Mr. Evans, I think it helped both of us as far as that part goes. And it did make me understand more of all the effect that I had going down the ladder, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of understood it intellectually, but seeing him helped you sort of personalize and connect in that way.
When you're put face to face with somebody, it brings reality right to you. You know, doing it over the phone or doing it in the courtroom, it wasn't as personal. It was personal there.
Now you've gone through multiple processes. How would you respond to people saying that something like this is soft on crime?
I don't think you guys were soft on me. It brought me to. I mean, I paid my dues for it. There were probably other things that could have happened to me, but I don't know that it would have taught me any more. You know, most of the time that I've been in trouble a couple other times, and I've got community service out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really think that helped me any, but it helped the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think doing the face to face with Mr. Evans, and us sitting down there for the time that we were there, and talking, did a lot better than me doing community service.
Okay.
It made me understand all the people that I hurt, not just Mr. Evans, but everybody down the line that worked for Mr. Evans, all the people I knew there, and I took from all of them is what I did. And like I said, I've learned my lesson.
Would you have gotten the same results? Would you have learned the same things? Would you have been as accountable if you were just punished versus the relationship building component?
I don't feel I would have been. You know, if I'd have got a slap on the hand or gone through the court, got my year of probation done, and been done with everything, I don't know that I would have learned as much. But being accountable for what I'd done and having to face the people that I hurt, I think did a lot of good for me.
And what impact do you think that opportunity also had on Mr. Evans?
I think he was happy to see me, for us to have the face to face. He wanted me to come in a long time before I did, and I was just too ashamed of what I did to go see him. And but by doing the face to face with Mr. Evans, that helped me a lot. It took, like I said, it took a lot. I was really nervous about the whole thing. And when I seen Mr. Evans, we started talking everything. My heart settled down. I calmed down the whole thing, and I think it was a good experience. It's just changed my attitude on a lot of things. Like I said, I got a rule now that if it isn't mine, I don't touch it. Period.
Mhm.
I don't care. I mean, if there's a wallet laying in the street, I'll pick it up and turn it in, but it will never go in my pocket. You
Gotcha.
know, stuff like that. I just
So you
drive around. If it's not mine, somebody's coming back for it.
So you broadened the lessons you learned from that experience to bigger contexts. Okay. Are there any other sort of lessons learned that you can apply in larger contexts?
That if you go out and work hard, make a good living, you'll get by. And I have. I've come up a long way from where I was when I first started all this. I'm getting ready to buy a house right now. I go to work every day. I got a good job.
Mhm.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
I've improved my life.
You're improving your life now. Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to add about your experience in the board process?
You were a nice guy to deal with. You weren't mean. You didn't. You didn't. What do I want to say? You didn't look down on me because of what I did. And I think it was a good process. I really do.
Good. And would you recommend it for other people who have committed offenses, and why or why not?
I would recommend it if people go in there with open mind and try to get something out of it, like I did. If they go in there with an attitude, it probably won't do them no good. But if they go in there with open mind and listen, I think it's good to face who you hurt. You know.